So I've been having some problems with the recording machine. I don't understand it, but it's not letting me see the fucking controls, and I've installed it, and I don't know what happened. I've rebooted the computer, you name it. So I think they're trying to shut me down. Yeah. They know that I know that they know that I'm in the restaurant ordering a side of Robinacci. Can I get a side of Robinacci with that, please? Okay, so the euro's crashing again. We're buying the plunge. I'm going to get into $1,000 a margin if I can. So I'm going to keep clicking for the next. I'm just going to buy this thing because I didn't put limits here. Buy right here on this trap here. Try to get about $700 a margin just real quick in here. Different exits, different stops. So I got 5 pip stops now. Put 7 pip stops in now. I'll put 8. This plunge. And there. So now I'm going to put the limits in. And I'm just going to write it down. I'm going to buy some 10 pip stops here. I'm going to get real high risk. Since it's going down so fast, the faster it drops, the harder I buy it. And the wider my stop too, so I would probably risk about another $250 on this trade. Go underwater, another two, take it down to 4,000. So we made it to 4,800 last night on the drift up. There was an exit window at the top here. So on the half-hour chart, you could see the entrance here. It's right here. On the 1 hour, you don't see the exact point, but it's a less risky trade on the 1 hour if you're just going to place one ticket. So here's where we were at about 10 o'clock at night. We were taking out this rooftop here, so that was where you would sell the heaviest. And I scaled out through this area, but this is based on the half hour. The beginning of that blue rectangle is the top of the half-hour bar. So if you compress the data, you see that this is the thing. So when you came up there and you crushed through that area, you had the flag or the pennant or the last pullback, like the scalpers. In other words, the people that, like, that is the only drama kind of in that hole. And then we punched through this. The non-directional people are filled to the north on this. They place their orders on that small bar. I'm assuming that we don't that if you have if you're going to buy if you're going to buy 1 pip away, 2 pip away, 3 pip away, 4 to 5. In other words, your worst entry is going to be a buy stop 5 pips above you, and that is when you press a button, it's going to put those in 1 pip apart. Guaranteed you'll be 1 pip apart, and if it only picks up 2 of those tickets and it picks up 1 on the other side, and then the other ones delete themselves before they get filled. So you have 5 to start on the bottom, 5 to start on the bottom, 1 pip apart. Let's just say this is just one of many ways to have like a hedge straddle. Confirmation hedge, I guess you'd call it. Stop entry confirmation hedge. You could call it whatever you want. I guess you want to do, or you get carried away, right? But if you're going to hand place them based on this and just say, well, I'm just going to put in a pack of sells here with maybe a stop. So the typical stop that people are going to do here is going to be something like, okay, we're going to put it up here just in case. But then the contradiction is that there's sellers up there. And there could be somebody stop up there, so it's definitely, oh my God, watching politicians talk, you'd have to believe that anything's capable as far as, this is just a parody of the chart. I'll say this is a parody. But no, there's somebody that's going to get stop hunted there. But the trailing money management systems that are super laggy, if they're doing a cancel replace, okay, if the robot's like that, it gets taken out there. The tightest money management bot for the sellers is this collapses, is that they get picked off, right? The to jump on this train here on this chart is asking a lot. This is a 30-minute chart. I mean, the only sell in here from a clear continuation signal and a measured move, a price pulse, nice clean 1-2 punch is, and it kind of failed, was this one here on this half-hour chart. So the rhythm here is a little different. This, you find the lowest close, and you're really supposed to hit, but you don't. You fail to hit targets, and well, you should. This thing's collapsing at such a rate of change that you should have a robot, or you should have a trade plan for a situation like this. So on the half hour, you're kind of forced to have trade plans for the half hour. Not forced to, but they do exist. And this is where your trade frequency is going to work against you unless you wait for the 4-hour chart's going to cost more in a sense, but the frequency it's a bigger move out of that area. Okay, so if you keep on trying to capture breakouts bar by bar on a 1-hour chart without the context of what's going on, yeah. Now, if you're looking at this half-hour, 1-hour chart, and you also have a 5-minute or a tick chart or something that you're like saying, oh, this looks in context of what's going on in a larger structure. Oh, I can see what's going on. And when you see it run on the tick chart, then you're going to chase it on the tick chart, and it looks like nothing. You're really not chasing it. It just looks like it because you're on the tick chart. But if you look at the half-hour chart, you're like, oh fuck, we haven't turned around yet, and it's still in turnaround phase. Okay, so I just bought more of this. I forgot I got to keep buying this thing. I'm getting in with the 5 hip stops right now. So I'm really loading up. That we're coming into 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right now. So I'm trying to get. I think I got stopped out because I just noticed my margin went. It's only. I want to try to get to $700 a margin. I think they took me out of about $100 a margin or investment is. So I'm a scalper when I need to be. I like scalping in Asia heavy with a tight stop because it's a drifty market. It's kind of predictable. Scalping an explosion like this, like say what? So last night, forgot. Where we left off the video was here. We drift up. We're up about $75-$100 here. So I'd already scaled out. I had some take profits in there. Could have got in a hedge there again. It is the half-hour chart, but if we go to the 1-hour chart, we can make the argument that 2 bars in a row is a 2-hour chart of nothing, which is not a bad argument because then you're only talking about 12 trades a day. You're waiting for 2 bars to give you a small range and just put on a hedge. And every bar, now if you get 3 bars in a row, that's small range, you should have 3 trade plans running. So the market's telling you how big to trade, it's telling you when to trade, it's telling you what trade plans to run, really. So imagine 3 different trade plans. You have your market orders, which you can execute willy-nilly, or you can wait for a serious move on the 1 hour. Like in 1 hour, it gives back what it took 10 hours to make. Or in 2 hours, it gave back what it took 10 hours to go, and it engulfs, okay? There is some psychotic stuff in the price action, the price behavior, so to speak, that is just kind of like never going to be able to put into some type of. Just can't. It's too dynamic. It's like so many fractals wrapped around fractals of stretched out, distorted. Age is slow. This is why they came out with the Renko chart because they're like, well, we just take all the data and make tick bars out of it because it looks so pretty. Yeah, but then how are you going to time your entries? I mean, how are you going to see Asia for what it really is? Just chop, weird. So here's the daily. This is the 1 hour classic chart. Last night we drift up here, and we also had this beautiful bottom become a top, just about nearly. I'm only going back. I'm only going back like since we can't trade very far left in the chart. I'm just saying where we're at in the big picture. We only need 5 days back with 1 hour chart. That's any more data than that, and I'm just gonna not be able to perceive. I'm not. I'm not gonna feel like I can do a trade plan like that. I don't know. I can't even get to my chart stuff. See, this is one more level of zoom out. When I see this, I see so many trades that you're really talking about how to study. You know, like look back at a chart and go, oh, this could happen, that can happen. Why is it happening? And what's really going on there? What is an auction? What is a total engulf is an auction? A dual auction, really. It's like the backward inside bar. You have a small bar and then you have a huge bar. What happens in that huge bar from the buyer and seller standpoint, they're both right about the sell high, buy low theory because it probes both areas on the both of those slots are filled. And so it goes boom, boom, and it's done. It's a boom, boom, boom. But it's going boom, boom, boom in a baby booms to big booms, and then it leaves a trail of no booms, and it's got to fill those booms. I don't know how to describe it, but the backfill factor and the repeated retagging and retesting of areas in a chaotic kind of inconsistently according to the clock, you know. So we have our linear clock running, which is the chart pacing out time left to right, or it's writing to the right, or it's going through it's the football player trying to get down the field, or he's back, you know, up and down. You could look at either way. You could just, you know, if you've never seen a chart in your life and you never saw a candlestick chart, candlestick chart, if you looked at this, I mean, this is a classic line chart from the old days, just closing prices, but it looks kind of like yikes. I wish I had the thicker candles on here. On one of these, it's on here. But I wanted to emphasize the wicks, and I didn't want to be interested in the opening of the price. Just close only, so we can just see the punctuation of right now where we at structurally based on close. Looking back, maybe here it's looking back way too far. But this is only for educational purposes to prove the point that this bottom becomes a double top here within a pretty tight zone. I mean, this is just good old structure stuff. Now, you can't make that argument. It's not always doing this. It's also, in a sense, secular because this is almost the same as that, but that may just be random coincidence. Who knows? And the old goes around number. Didn't have to go around number because this reversal is just as good as this reversal. This one, I believe, is based off of wanting to come back home to this popular exchange window that went on for quite some time. Anytime the market can do this, people are like, yeah, okay. But notice that last buying the new lows with a very like 20-to-1 ratios, really heavy, is the trade. Okay, but you have to put the trade on before. So selling the top of this failure, very heavy with a tight stop, that's the trade. If you want to trade one ticket. So that's how you would do that, because even if you did that here, you would have to scalp out. If you bought here, you see the scalpers take it to there and then plunge around it. So this is the confirmation. It's being confirmed by people saying, everybody at once that's in the market that can move the market. I guess it's the popular vote. I would say it's a democratic kind of price behavior, I'm assuming. There's more sellers than buyers. I don't know, but I was just say that pattern happens. I would say for that psychological reason that anybody that thinks that this is support on the 1 hour chart, which is a triple bottom, when it breaks, it becomes resistance. And people that say, "Oh, I'm going to wait for if it's a real breakout." And there's also the people that go, I only sell baby rallies in a downtrend. I get in here and I get in here. If it's up, I'm selling on the 1 hour. If I think it's going down, and if it's up and I'm a bear, and I think we still have a long ways to go to clean house here, and then this becomes, this is wackadoodle. So last night, had you put on a hedge here or even ran a trailing sell stop on the 1 hour chart, you could have just assumed when it's drifting up, you can run a sell stop bot for entry if you want confirmation. When it's smashing down, you could do the same thing. But when it's going this fast, you got to have a wider stop, I would say. Otherwise, why bother? If you're not running limit orders out in front of this, it's dropping so quickly that unless you are prepared to jump on the 15-minute chart, it's not a trade you can really, if you're not there to, because what are you just going to get on here and sell? Or are you going to get on here and sell? Are you going to get on, if you sell here and then, man, you got to pretty much, you got to, it's a very fast market. So I'm thinking more like, let them stop me out of this. Let me run the sell stop bot. And by this time, if some of these limits have made this much, okay, I can deal with this. You could build a hedge during this drift. But when it's taken off like this, I just don't see how you're going to get on that train. You got 1 hour. And this is so steep and so unsustainable that this deserves a whole different trade plan. Yeah, I think I could do it. I think I'm going to go to that what's it called? Upwork, I think it's called. I'll say, hey man, I need you to build me a fucking market bot. I need to be able to see the code. I'm going to take that robot. All it's going to do is trade at the market. If it sees the market's down 80 pips, there's one robot looking at everything from 80 to 100 pips. That's all he trades. He gets in. He's in markets, Can't take that robot and trade the guppy with it though, maybe, because it's like, if you look at the guppy, what it can do, in relationship to when other markets go berserk. So if the yen goes nuts across the dollar, if the yen goes nuts against the dollar, the pound, and the euro, and all these things, what's the typical, or what is the when Asia's open? So also, I guess you have to make a conditional. What is the typical, or just, I don't know. Would you really want this thing out there trading with a tight stop in the guppy? Probably not. So the market order, if it's down 200 pips and it's going to get in, it's down 200 pips in 1 hour. Yeah, you'd have to have a custom robot for the just run it on the guppy. It'd be some psycho because it wouldn't make sense to even try to run it on. You're not going to drop that same robot in the euro dollar. It'll never get triggered. This thing's never going to fill. But that's a great way to get in and have that one robot, maybe if you can, have a trade manager just trade. There's some kind of stamp on that trade that the trade manager says, I'm going to trail a stop on that or something. I don't know. That's the problem, because unless you have another robot that comes in and puts on a hedge, and that's your trailing stop, so to speak, because it kind of it gets you out of that. So when this thing, last night we drift up, and the sellers come in there. We go to make new lows, so I bought this last night. So it's a real whirlwind, sideways, slam dance, manipulation, as they'd say. So says Mr. No Nonsense. They're manipulating. It's the most manipulated market. I'm like, I'm glad to hear that because I know that it's going to go spastic, and maybe it won't go spastic. Maybe it's too tame for him, so he wants to trade the. I know people love that guppy, man. They're like, dude, that thing fucking moves. Yeah, I know, but you really have to trade um, carefully there. You can get really. It's hard to blow up the trading the euro dollar because the spread's so tight, and you can really. It's a little more work because you got to trade twice as hard to trade what you would trade in a small position on the your good old guppy. Pound yen. But yeah, the sell stop is my entryway into kind of. I did run some sell stops last week, and it's different psychologically because if you're long, and I'm just putting in fresh new ones and not running a trailing stop on the original ticket I put in, so it just kind of softens things. I wasn't going to sell it at the bottom of this though. I was buying into the whole bottom of this thing tonight, so I'm buying new lows, which is really kind of difficult psychologically because you're really going against everybody. Especially down at the bottom here. Well, it looks like we're just going to keep caving down. We almost hit the round number here. So now I'm going to put in some 22 pip targets. I think we can make 22 pips now. Yeah, I just don't. I don't care anymore, man. I'm over it with all these fucking watching these people on TV. I'm just like, my God, you gotta be kidding me, man. If they think, if they think the markets are rigged, just watch politics for a day. And this guy, they want to get rid of this guy in Britain now. So cute. Yeah, those people in Hong Kong, man. You talk about having a tough day. That's where that one guy went to. That one trader, that he's a Fibonacci guy. Dinopoly or something. There's a video of him talking about the market and stuff. I can't remember his name. All right, so I'm in $700. That's why I'm in $733 a margin now. Okay, so I'm riding this thing. Anyways, so some of these things, unless you can be awake 24 hours, you may look at the chart, you may backtest it, but in reality, are you going to be awake? Are you going to be around for those trades? That's a whole other story. Are you going to have enough money in the account? Did you just lose on the last trade? I just don't know if that's going to be in your playback or even your robot building. But if I know what I do right now, if I could have a robot do what I'm doing right now, that would save it. He does a particular thing based on a particular behavior. But it's not one robot. You just have a market bot, a stop bot, and a limit bot. The limit bot's throwing grids out, it's swing trading. The stop bot's doing breakouts of small ranges, and the market bot is taking advantage of end of period high big moves, end of period small moves. You could have a robot that's triggered by a small move. He has a particular trade plan. It's a tight stop with probably not too greedy to take profit. He's trading your extreme bot, so you can have it so that you don't have a medium bot, let's say. It's either a small move with a tight stop or a big dramatic move beyond 50 or 150 pips. These market bots come in and they go, oh, let's get in, you know. And the one that's going to buy 300 pips deep might buy 3 tickets right at the market. Or basically, I would probably, in that case, I would have it buy one at the market and buy one on a limit, 10 pips deep, and one on and then say, at the rate of change that we're dropping, if we just dropped 80 pips, I expect another 20 pip drop. So we're throwing a limit. And to save the limit bot from that trade, because the limit bot's going to just throw in static grids maybe without relationship to momentum. The limit bot's not throwing them in because of momentum. It's throwing them in because it's just doing canvassing of a neighborhood. It's just knocking on doors. Whoever answers. It's not going to matter. I've run it. I've run that robot, and I'm like, look at this thing kill during the certain with the right ATR, the right volatility of the market matched to this trade plan. It cleans up. So that's not the that's not the problem. Is that you couldn't build an MACD robot and have it do pretty good with the settings just right for the way the market happens to be behaving. But the future's not the past. It could never be like that. You're not going to see shit wallpapered into the future. Your trend lines are going to break, or markets could just, it's nuts. If you go back and look at stuff you thought would never happen, silver used to trade at like $5. I think everybody's surprised silver's not at 1,000 and gold's not at 20,000 for the kind of distortion that printed money, fiat currency, puts on a system, the stress. But the market finds a way around it, and apparently money shifts around here, hither and thither to make up for it. It's 9 o'clock. I'm going to buy a ton now. And that's the discrepancies are filled. The unfair value goes away. It's only momentary lapse of reason, but last night when the market came up here, and if you didn't get in the breakout here, what could you have done? You could have put buy limits here, picked this up. You could have cashed out into this bottom on the limit strategy. Ideally, the limit bot is aware of the rate of drop, and it's laying track accordingly in front. So, but in the crudest sense, if you just pick a good chunky, the euro dollar limit bot's probably running maxes out at 100 pips maybe. It's buying every 20 pips. And it's a good fit for what could happen, and some of the tickets won't fill. But not to overstress the account, you don't want to lay them in too tight, and if it's got to be Goldilocks, because if you have it too wide, you won't fill, and you're just wasting your time, wasting everybody's time. Frankly, just stop trading. The market makers aren't going to even want to try to. The bankers, the more retail traders that trade, don't forget they're just feeding into the bank's trap. They're just like, oof, did you see some retail traders signed up today? They always lose. Oh yeah, why are you guys at the discount window again? Sorry. Somebody over at the bank got a little emotional about their trade or something, or their newer neural net got a little choked on. The server got caught up. That's what happened. Then after this rally, after the sell-off down here, so you come down, the limits get filled up. Maybe you hold to here. Maybe you say, I'm going to go for the full tilt auction in golf. We stop hunt this guy, take out the low of the previous day, then we take out the high of that day. Astounding. Just like as low as it could go, as high as it could go. Boom. And then this, any one of these directions you could have traded. In the limit bot, say a limit bot at this point, launches limits here to sell, limits to buy. At some point, it's cashing out. Boom, 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 boom. But you could actually have to launch that robot again. So if that robot's constantly throwing out the sell limits, because after this gets filled, and it keeps doing that, even when the market's slamming down, its market's going down and it's throwing sell limits up here and buy limits below. Well, it fills on this side. If I can get this strategy test running, I'll show you. But it's if you let it stack up. So imagine every hour it's throwing out sell limits and buy limits. So once the market goes berserk, and if it keeps doing that, when it's up here, it's throwing in these guys. This is like, it would be perfect for a range bot or the limit grids to take advantage of that. And where it's going to get killed is if it's not aware of the rate of change and it starts to throw in tight buy limits and tight sell limits, it's going to get washed out. It has to be if it's going to be a swing bot orientated thing, it's has to be a wide girth to it. It's not to say that the people that realize this is a bottom go, you know what, this is a big pivot. But I don't think people are psychologically prepared to buy here a big size and then get out and sell big. I don't think a lot of people are doing that trade at the market. Like buy, sell. Yep, knew that was going to happen. Maybe they are. Yep, knew that was going to happen, but you kind of did know that was going to happen, but you don't have to be there for it, because to be there and do that trade is just... And what, you're going to sell 5 standard lots here, and you're like, I'm up, I think I'm getting out. This is don't forget, this is the 618 pullback. Yeah, that's my target. It's going to go like this. No 618 today, guys. It's just not... I just don't see it there. I see a measured move here. Pause. Doji'd out. One price pulse. It's a 1 hour euro. Come down. Pause. Straight down. Sheer down. Now it's going down again. So at the end of this hour, if it's down, I'm going to buy more. That's my trade plan. If I'm accumulating, I only buy when it's going down. So last night I said I would not buy, and I did not chase that last night. I said I'm done buying. Never buy when it's going up, never sell when it's going down. In my world, it just doesn't make sense. Because it's just not a good price. It's bad enough you're getting in on stop entries. Let that be the entry, for God's sakes. But at market orders, I'm always going against. The stop entry is a different story. Because if you put a buy stop and a sell stop on here right now, buy stop, and put them kind of tightish, I'd say maybe 8 pips is as far away as you want to get. You put a buy stop and a sell stop. This recorder is so fucked up, man. I can't even get the size of these lines to change. I don't know what they did to this fucking thing. Get the pro version of this piece of shit. I just can't. I'm just so sick of it. I'm going to write a letter to the editor. Oh, look, I have to click on the one above to get the smaller line. I can't get the medium line. I can only get the big fucking hairy one. Oh, Jesus. What a bunch of assholes. These nerd fucks built this. I'm going to use this skinny ass line here. I'll just scratch it in. I'm at $800 a margin. I think I overloaded it. So if I could put pendings in like this right now, this is what it's going to look like. I'm not on that key right now. Let me go to it. So I'm going to put in that trade plan right there. I'm going to go to my single bank. That's the only way to do it. So this is a custom fitted catch a falling knife with one case here. Okay, so here's 3 pips. 3 pips below. You can't see the arrows on there because I've got it on my tablet, but you see it show up there. 4 pips deep. So I'm going to buy this all the way down. Every pip, 3K on every 1 pip handle right now. And At least I don't have to worry about deleting the arrows. This is another way around, is launch on the tablet and just, I'm just going to, I got $130 left of margin here to use. I said I'd go down I'd spend $280 on this trade. I'm down 230 right now. Okay, so we're getting heat because we loaded up at the market. So I'm going to canvas the, overlap those stops there. So if they start stop hunting me, because you know they will, they can see what I'm doing, obviously. Looking through my window. Those commie bastards are hunting me down again. Okay, I'm going to go for that round handle now. About 13 pips deep. That's all we need to go. 13 pips away from... Okay. And then I'm going to wait. So I'm going to, at 20 minutes to 9:30. And at 9:30 we'll buy more. So how do I decide that? Is that I go to the half-hour chart and I'm like, if we're down on the half hour, I am buying more. No questions asked. So I bought here at the market, which I did. I bought here. So as he broke out into new lows, I bought in. I don't know if the spread got wide here. I wasn't watching that. I just know my equity is going down. I was looking at my screen. Okay, so here's where I didn't get in. So I got some dry powder left. I got $172 left before I get to 4,000, which is where I was the day before. So, yeah, so I got in kind of heavy here at 5 o'clock. And now I want to buy if it drops 3 pips. So this is going to save me because I can put in a bunch of tickets right now and just walk away, go to the store and not have to worry about it. Because I know I'm going to buy down here. If I see it drop down there, I'm buying it. So let me buy some at the market. I already did that. And now I'm going to put the limits in. So I'm going to try to spread the entry. I like to scalp these new lows. Okay, so I got $112 left here. Get to about $1,000 of margin. Probably be at like 3,900. Here comes the 15-minute traders now. 15-minute chart, even more aggressive. Every 15 minutes it goes down, you buy. But I think the robot needs to be aware of how much it has dropped in 15 minutes. So when it drops this little bit, I'm sorry, it wouldn't buy that last 15 minute because it's up, I think. So it's like slightly up on this one broker. So maybe it doesn't buy that. And there's no breakout bot for the 15-minute chart. I would keep the breakout bots on the 4-hour chart. That seems to be the best strategy. I back tested quite a bit of EAs, actually. Not quite a bit of EAs, but quite a bit of data. And it seems to me that the 4-hour chart is the best paying chart. Better than the daily, better than the 4-hour for most strategies. Because it's not over trading. The criteria is not coming in that heavy, but it's definitely... a daily robot seems retarded. Like, I think you should be able to look at the market every day at one time in the morning or night and figure out what's going on. Or Asia seems to be the best time to assess it because it's dead. It's pretty dead, and you can just put all your trades in there in advance. I got $83 left of margin here available. So we're crashing. We're going down again. And it looks really vicious on the 15, and I've got the scale fixed, so I'm just focusing on this structure here. So here's your double bottom, becomes a double tops in a sense. Big raid down here, new lows, a lot of excitement, a lot of scalpers got out when it came back to this. And I'm hoping they come down like this because I want to get in all the way down on this because I feel like I missed out on this wick, so I want to rebuy that wick. And now I'm actually going to buy at the market again, I think. Oh, they just picked up one of my limits. I saw my margin went up, picked up at 1K. I'm going to wait, I guess. One more minute. 15-minute chart here. I feel like they're trapping the 15-minute traders, so I want to trap them too right here. We just took out the low from the last 15 minutes. That's what I'm thinking here. So I'm going to buy at the market. Again, I got to go to the other. So that's the thing. Having that order right in your hand is the trick, I think, here. I'm going to put tight stops on this, though. I'm going to buy very tight, and I'm going to put on about 10K. So here we go. We just closed at the 15 there. So we locked it in. We just locked in the lowest low on here. 5 pip stops now to make 10, 15, 6 pip stops to make 7. There you go. So that's 7 to make 7. It's a real ungreedy trade there. Okay, almost $860 a margin now. Staying equities at 4,150. So as long as we're above 4,000 in equity, I feel like we can burn a few pips here. Lasso this new low. Okay, so I'm done buying at the market. I'm going to come with the limits again in case we go a psycho plunge. And I'm going to put limits that are like, we use that 6 to 8 pip deep one that's for 8 hours. So that's a big kahuna one. And when you put that in, you got to be careful when you put these things that last 8 hours and they're like 3 pips deep, because that means you're really saying we're going to go down about 3 to whatever you pick. Now here's my 6 to 18 with a 30 pip stop for 8 hours. So that's a real commitment. I mean, you're exposing yourself to 8 hours of drama. We could keep going down past the round number. Just go to hell. You could just go, what if they depeg it? Whatever people do, I mean, so whatever happens out there in the world, China decides they're going to start, building, whatever they're going to do. Their fake cities, they're going to run them out or something. I don't know. How do you have a fake city, man? How does that work? So this is the first target, I think, for people. I think they've trapped the 15-minute breakout traders here, if you want to look at it that way. Or you could look at a failed breakout strategy. People have a buy stop here, a sell stop here. They get trapped short. They're like, uh-oh. They did cancel replays. They manage their position. They only lose a little bit. So the 15-minute chart, to me, is more tradable from the standpoint of looking at this hole and saying, oh, that's a ripe section. I'll put limits in there, and they only fill you on this part. And then, this breakout trade, it's pretty hard to nail that. It is a beautiful setup. It goes a little bit higher. Lowest true range. Buy stops never fill. Sell stops do. You kind of made some money on that. Same thing here. You come back. Meanwhile, you're pressing up against this trend line or lack of volatility. Little breakout here. People are making some money. Then, lo and behold, we hit this. And, geez, sellers. Meanwhile, the money management sell bots are stacking up. Fuels this big thing. Everybody cashes out here. Here comes the market makers. They grab this, rip it back, and I just bought a kind of a crude version. My at the market system is like if it's down by, and this actually didn't close down hard. If that would have closed down here and I was here, like I'm so sure, like if I was here like here, I'm buying. Because look at that. Look how vicious that is. 15-minute chart, though. You gotta be honest with yourself. You're not trading. You're not gonna be awake for every zigzag on here. But if you do catch it, so if this is the 4-hour chart, it would be like, okay, you just made this much money. Now you come back in and you buy every down. But when it goes down a little bit, you're going to buy with a tighter stop. When it goes down real big, you have a wider stop. So both stops would end up being kind of like down here for that trade. So we're done buying at the market. If it keeps tanking, we're going to buy again. So it's very counterintuitive, I think. Doesn't make sense. Why are you adding to a loser? Well, I mean, as long as you get the stops, so they're not the same stop. It's kind of it's a soft blow to your equity. It could be a soft win, but if you're trying to build a position and you're like, they're taking me out. Okay, so we got 10 minutes to the 9:30 p.m. Okay, so this is one of these situations where I wouldn't add to this position. I don't want to go below a certain number. So I'm willing to get in early as part of maybe 20% of the position. I'm getting in early. And maybe maybe I'm not getting in earlier. Maybe my limits won't fill. So I'm trying to balance between what I see like a gut trade, market, well, it's just down. Looks like a buy. Then you got the limits. And at that point, I'm not putting the stops in unless I'm going to do this non-directional breakout. That looks like a good choice of order type for that style because it's a real passive entry. You're not choosing the direction necessarily. You can do a stop entry and a buy limit entry that's gauged to be like never trade at the market because if you put a buy limit in and a buy stop, you're kind of bracketing the bullish moves will be in your favor because even if they pull it back a little bit, that's like your market order, the limit order. Because the stop entry is always going to be, I need that momentum to crush through at a certain rate of change that it's going to overcome the trap. So that tipping point of like, well, this is a real breakout. But it's too late in a sense. You can't chase the whole order like that. So if you have something in, you're in something. So you're always in a 1K with a 100 pip stop somewhere that's $10 of risk typically. You feel like, hey, I'm in something here, and then you can load the wagon when necessary and see, oh, I see what's going on now. And then you get I see, you're probably going to, yeah, so, and then, but having the gun in your hand, it's one thing to say you've got 10 guns, but if you've got no bullets or you've got like, nothing you can just grab right next to you. Like if you got to go to your safe and get the gun out and load it. It's cute how the government's like, you can have a gun, but you got to like sit around and like, you got to have it locked. And I'm like, people say, why don't you buy a gun? I'm like, you mean I got to have it like locked up in the car when I'm driving around? I can't just kill the fucking idiot behind me who's tailgating me? So we're going up here. I'm not going to buy. So tempting. I'm in big enough. I was trying to get to $700, so I overfilled, I would say. And we got to start taking out these 15-minute wicks now. We got to start chopping the trees off this thing. And we could get quite a fast... I mean, when the volatility... People love volatility in the sense... Because you can make back what you lost at the same rate that you lost it. If it's going up and down, up and down, up and down, some people love that because they're like, the worst thing in a sense is when the market's dead and you're in really big, like you're down and you're in a giant position and it's just drifting. And you're like, dude, just stop me out or fucking just get it over with. Like, what the fuck? Or you're watching it go sideways and you got no trade plan for that, which I think if you're not in the market when it's dead in the water, it's time to get in. Because if you're in and down, you don't want to get in more. And you have to, in a sense, to make money. So you have to go against what seems to be conventional wisdom. at that point, you could also put the stop and reverses in. So if you lock the hedge in, what you're saying is, if it doesn't go down, if it doesn't go up, then it's going down. It's going to keep tanking, and you can soften the blow by putting the hedge in at that point. And so you're compromising, which if you're a purist, it's kind of hard because you feel like, no, I'm sorry, I know which way. I have a bias. Thank you very much. I think it's going down. I'm just going to trade from the short side. That's my baseline. That's what I do. I don't trade reversals. So I see that people want to do that. But I've discovered, or I felt like it's okay. I mean, to trade somebody else's trade plan. I would be able to trade the no nonsense. I can see what he's doing. He's just filtering the shit out of it. I can see the setups on there. I could come by those setups, but there's so many trades that happened before that I wouldn't want to just build the whole system around everything queuing up to one filter. Sure, that's why you need 28 fucking pairs. That's why. His system doesn't work on one pair. He's not trading the market. He's trading through a filter that needs 28 pairs, and now he's going on to crude and this other. He's adding to the pairs now. He's like a fucking addict. I don't get it. I guess I get it. I went down the road of that where it's like, have you seen this thing in the fucking when I saw Bitcoin, I said that. Have you seen the fucking this Bitcoin market? Look at this thing. Now the problem with Bitcoin, if you run the MACD on the monthly, you're like, and we are where on this thing? And if you run it on the weekly, maybe you're like, oh, okay, we missed the entry there. I have to wait another 3 years on the weekly. Bitcoin, yeah, I mean, look at how this market is. Back to 4,192, almost back to 4,200 here. So I think if we make it above the high, that last high before the plunge here, I think we'll be back to 4,500 bucks. So I'm trying to get to 5,000 by tomorrow. Let's take a look at this thing here. I'm going to go to the other time frame. I'm going to go from the 15 to the half hour. Completely different story. Here there's only 3 trades available. So the larger the time frame, the less frequency of the trading with my system, because here I only see 3 market orders and we haven't completed. We got 3 minutes before I pull the trigger at the market again. But since I loaded the wagon here, I'm not going to do that. I'm severely in. But I'm just going to wait 3 more minutes for the update of the chart here. Let me get my trusty clock out. I don't have the fucking clock loaded on my recorder, but let's stare at it. Countdown here. Okay, so we got 25 seconds to the top of the hour. To the top of the 1 minute hand. So we got technically 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in this half hour chart. And I would buy, so it'd be buy. In the bigger down one was the last one with the hammer on the half hour, so that'd be a big buy. A big buy. I think I'm buying, but I think it's a, robots are cool, but if you really look at this thing, you can see how the structure is here. It's just amazing. I just couldn't. If it went down there, I'd be like, I'd use $1,100 a margin. Take the account down to $3,800. It'd be fine with me. Because we'd make it all back on the in golf here. So yeah, that's gambling. Sorry, it's gambling for me. The hedge actually makes it not gambling, though. I haven't launched the hedge yet. The market hasn't calmed down enough. It's too rambunctious. I think I missed my hedging opportunity there. I'll use the 4-hour chart for the hedge. Like I said, there's no hedges available right now. And I don't know if I'd want to be selling down here. So maybe buy stops. That's another way. My crazy tequila holic buddy would do that, and he literally would just put buy stops in while the market was going up, and he was making money, and he was laughing. And I was like, that's really good. That's not a that really does work. And but of course, like anything else, you can by the time that the last if the stops are you're really buying at the market as it goes up in a sense, right? If you overload the top of that when it reverses, if you don't get out of something, you're gonna get crushed. You just get sucked into that trend. Okay, got boom. There you go. It's 9:30. So we just updated this. I would pull the trigger at the market. Now I'm gonna run a very tight stop because it's very slightly down. Let's get up to $900 a margin here. Watching I'm sorry, investment. I might leave myself a little breathing room. $10 away from 900 a margin now. And we're down, we're at the 4,180, down $10 from the last half hour. Yeah, I don't, people talk about the 1 minute chart, but unless the market's really bucking, it's not worth it for me. Besides, I'm curious about the next 12 hours. In the 5 minute chart, I think you got to be in pretty heavy to make money on that stuff and all that stuff. Look, the spread just went to 1/10 of a pip there, so spreads are tightening up real nice here. So they're open over there in Singapore and all that. And the world's opening up here. Yeah, it could keep tanking. It's not like it couldn't keep tanking. But don't forget, we did take out the low of the. Take out the low of the year yet? I don't know. I don't think so. We're making new lows for this year though. Yeah, we took out the low of the year. So we just made a new low. And actually, I think this was actually the big news. I bet this was a piece of news. They do talk about these trades like this. What the fuck is my... Ignore that line there. I'm looking at this thing here. There's a low that goes real deep here. And I don't know what the date on that is, but... So took out the low of the year, and then we took out that low. So that's like over 2 years ago. Amazing. We're here now. So this is the contest. Are we going to keep going down and take out... where's the next support? Oh, jeez, I can't get this to move. Oh, it's way down there. About 100 pips down. 120 pips down there. Here's the next monster low. This is such a big deal down here. Wow. That may take some work to get down there. Okay, now we just have to wait. Half-hour chart, so seems running out of steam. I don't know if we can take out the low of that giant wick there. It'd be interesting to see. Well, we're in that giant pool now. This was the 50 pip area here. Quite a sandbox of insanity. We're in pretty damn big. And so we sit tight in Asia. Another hour to go. Building up pressure there, nice smooth. Kind of a jagged sell-off, but the highs are nice and smooth, stacked up, ready to be stop hunted. It really looks like this chart, this half-hour chart's just asking to be stop hunted. Well, the 15 sure is, because we have not made a higher high per bar. If we could take out this bar here, start knocking out those rooftops here, I think. Cut through these guys. Eventually blow that off. And now engulf that thing. Take that out. This is the first obstacle. All these wicks will be the obstacles. These are the bottoms that are supposed to become a tops if we're going down. People will be trying to sell into that. This was where the whole drama started. 15-minute chart, but I'm not really looking at the bars. I'm kind of looking at the overall. Top become a bottom factor. Okay, so go to the hourly chart now. Because it's past the bottom of the hour, coming up to the top of the hour. Alrighty then, so we're making some money now. The 5-minute chart is poised. We have our first trend line we can draw. This one failed. Looking for, take out this, take out that. This is the big challenge here. Yeah, you got to be quick. Quick straw McGraw on this 5-minute. Got 10 minutes to get this sell on. This bottom becomes a top. Got to get out of that, man. I mean, if you didn't have take profits in here, you're there right now. You can get out now. It's not too late to get out. All right. Trying to get to $4,500. Now we could be at $4,600 maybe. If we could get to here. As big as I bought on that. So the frequency of trading is dictated by the time frame. The 30-minute chart, 48 possible market orders per day. Or even hedges, even stop placements. Yeah, 30-minute chart. That's still a lot of work, but I can handle the 30-minute chart, I think. The 1 hour is a lot less work, a lot smoother. 4-hour chart, you're looking back here. This just took out 2 weeks of data, and I made a new 2-year low today. Big deal today. Big sell-off. Big unfair value. This is... I'm sorry, this is a 2-day low. But it could just be it could easily be a weekly chart, and we're looking at, because the fact that you just took out that and you went back 2 years. This is a new low for the year, this year, and it makes a 2-year low. We're in that blue pool. How long will we sit here? Should we sell because it's going down? Can we scalp to here maybe? Will it go straight down forever? Will it retrace? Okay, so I'm back to 4,200. If we can stay above 4,200 here, I think we'll make it. I've got so many cash outs here. I'll probably get out of about half of my position by here if we can just make it to here. That doesn't include this, and there's a whole ton of exits here. But I put in the when I was clicking madly, I had 5 pip stops with 12, 14, 10, 12, 11, 22 pip targets. Because if I can make $800 back into that bottom, and it drifts up, I've cleared those tickets off, and I can come back in with limits for a retest or even lower. So I like being in anywhere from 10K to 200K if need be, 300, whatever it takes. I mean, if the account gets big enough, and I can trade it light when it's has scattered deep limits are being filled. Well, they're doing their job. And if I can sit here and say, God, look at this, and if the market's going sideways, it's a perfectly good option to, even though you know where the market's going, just for money management, to put the insurance entries in, stop entry, keeping the frequency down at the market, because if the 4-hour chart, how many bars are down, how far is it down, but where are you really going? And sure, you're going to lose sometimes if you stack up too many tickets. And getting taken out of these tight stops is different than taken out of a wide stop. When you get taken out of a wide stop, you're like, oh boy, that's not good. If it's a big position, it's like, yeah. And the little stop outs, it's kind of annoying. Like earlier, I was in about $600 of margin, and I looked down at it, I'm only in $400. I'm like, damn it. Which meant I had to get back in again and repay. So the balance between capital preservation and going all in, as long as you got something in there, and of course, this is, I think, the when you put the non-directional, you're saying you've got dual strategies going, and you're protecting yourself at that point. Because if you just trade one strategy, or one technique, or one style, or one type, I think it's just too fragile. You better be really good at picking the directions if that's the case. You gotta be really good at that. And yeah, the Asian session is pretty tame, and then it is a setup for what's coming next. We could still get a rally here, make $800, and it could plunge another 50 pips coming into Friday. And if I jump on, if those limits that I left here pending for 8 hours fill, then that puts me at about back to about $4,500, but I'll still be up 300 from where I'm at now. So it's not going to be a perfectly smooth equity curve, but I'd say planning ahead for that a little bit. So scalping heavy enough to get some money in the account, so that, and I'm not trading another one. Another thing is that the dollar yen trade that I had on got filled, and we had the same drama in the dollar yen last night, where we had the same bounce house thing go on here. Look at the 1 hour dollar yen. Same story, different currency. You take out the low. See, here's the tickets I put in that I made money. This is the 12. This is the 8 hour tickets. I think these filled. I noticed this morning I was filled on some of these. So I dropped this array in advance to buy that thing, and because I didn't run no hedges. Didn't run no hedges last night on that, but buying this thing just because. But look how they took out this low, and then they took out this low. And when I say they, I mean just the mob pushed it past the previous day. Took out the low from Asia here. Almost took out this. I would have had a big, fatter tickets in here. Never got them though. Never got that price. And then what else? This was the scalp off the top, and then of course the classic fills this. Just same thing as this pattern here. Just kind of choppy. And I think it's it's in an uptrend, so to speak, but that wouldn't change my trade plans. I'm just saying that to it's making new highs on the daily. That's all. It took out the high from the previous day, but see, it's left behind this big void. We could still tumble down, and that's why I would throw in some buy limits here, which I didn't do because I don't want that in the background. But that's the trade plan I'd use on that. Obviously, just start buying on limits here for some kind of bounce, high probability scenario. So I think gold's kind of had it here. At least gold's going sideways. It's going to be very exciting. Year and quarter left here. The British pound is stabilized. I just took out the low of 2 weeks ago. What else? That's all I got. Okay, so I'm just into the euro here. Holding in here at the coming up to 10 o'clock. All right, let me zoom in. Nice drift down now. If we close here, we got a nice super small candle with a really small body on the half hour. I like it on the it looks great on this 15-minute chart right now. So I think you can, on the 15-minute chart, the market bot could probably trade that. The breakout bot would just be useless. So we got a 15-minute pullback here. Small pullback, small stop, big pullback, big stop. Okay, here's the 15 minutes. So it looks like we're going to start tanking again. Sellers that came in there. Sell at the market bots just sold this last 15 minutes. Okay, we got 12 minutes left till 10 o'clock. The pressure's building up on the top here on the 15-minute euro. Buy stops stacking up. They trapped the bears here. This is the other trap I was talking about. I bought the trap. In fact, the trend continuation bears were getting trapped, adding into their shorts there and getting trapped. Trading against the losers. And yeah, we got it. We got to take that out. We don't have to. We can keep curling down here. My pendings start here, and there's more pendings the deeper I'm at. So I'm setting all my. They're not bigger size tickets. They're just closer together. So in essence, it's a loading the wagon there. Okay, so I got 12 minutes now until the top of the hour. Now the 15's going. I mean the 30's could close up here, which means I would definitely not sell. I mean I would definitely not buy. Might sell, but I refuse to buy after it's gone up on that time frame. 15. If the 15's up, I'm not buying. So imagine you've got a 15-minute bot, a 30-minute bot, a 1-hour bot, and a 4-hour bot. No sense in a daily bot because you can just look at the fucking chart and go, it's down, I think I'll buy. And there you can kind of customize your the purpose of the robot for me is when I'm sleeping, I want it to do just some goofy. Just what I would do is if I was watching it. I don't think it's going to be available when the news comes out. I don't think some of these. Well, some of these might, but I don't think this. The market will be moving too. It's going to be moving too hard for any small range breakout bot to be engaged, and it's not even going to pick up on the trades. So those bots are designed to just avoid that trade. They would never even see it. It wouldn't even occur to them. And that's the only filter I can think of. Are we breaking out? Did we just move down really big? And how fast are we moving? Can we throw limits out in front? I suppose at that point it's directional. If it's going to be a catch a falling knife bot, it's going to do limits broadly. And there's a thing called spectrum, that indicator called spectrum, which kind of tries to assess the last volatility, how far from the pivot you are, and then it throws lines out there. So this is the euro we're in, which is very tame currency. It's all-purpose currency. Super tight spread. The pound right now has a spread of 1. Brutal. Untradeable in Asia. Seriously, untradeable in Asia. The yen's far better. You can't go wrong with the dollar yen and the euro to the dollar, most liquid pairs on the planet. For every technique, there's two things there. We were in the dollar yen, and after did that giant engulf and I cashed out, I'm like, I'm done. We're broke up. When the euro's just too easy to trade. It's just too easy. It's too boring, I suppose, for some people. Some people won't trade it. Yeah, the pound of the yen is very dramatic. A lot of punishment. 9 minutes to the top of the hour. Oh yeah, this Asian stuff's pretty creeper gear, but I'm not getting killed and I'm not getting rich, so I like Asia. This is really coming to a head here. The 4-hour chart is just another thing. Is beauty of the 4-hour chart here. How it just went down hard. It's just kind of screeching to a halt there. It's really running out of fuel. Nice curve. Wow. Psycho lows. A real unfair, a really outlier price. Okay, we just have to wait. I got 8 minutes left. Wait for that punctuation mark of the hourly traders, the 50-minute traders, the 5-minute traders. Everybody's going to come together on the 1-hour chart. And we are waiting for that moment. So I'm happy with the position now. We're in. If this closes up, I don't feel like I have to buy anymore. I'm sticking with all my targets. So that's why I made so many different targets. So this way, a nice smooth exit, make money. Because it is, and I've lost a lot of money moving my targets. Because I'm like, oh yeah, it looks like it's going to go, like you stretching them out. Taking a scalp and turning it into a swing trade is like not good. I mean, if you have scalp tickets, they should stay scalp tickets. I think because that's the plan. Trade your plan. Your scalp plan should do what they're supposed to do, because if you tried to say, God, I got in and I know there's a 5 pip stop on this ticket, but I'm up 80 pips. I mean, you're like, wow, I should do that on every ticket then. Move on. Okay, so this looks like we're going to make it to maybe 4,300 in 5 minutes. And that'll put us in a good position here. So yeah, it's a real daunting task, as they say, trading. Okay, let me see here. Gotta change positions. Alright, so here we are back in the almost 10 o'clock. 5 minutes. Here comes the cycle window, 5 minutes before the top of the hour. Try to get to $4,300 here in 5 minutes. And then I think we might have put in a nice low here for the year. This could be it. Amazing. I'll take 35 pips would be fine with me. We'll make it to 109.50. That's going to be fine. I'll appreciate that. Super doji. Last 4 hour period is just an insane doji. The buy stops and sell stops are stacking up. The volatility is the driest I think I've seen it. Well, the last super dry volatility was after we opened up Sunday night here, dropped down, fell out of bed real hard, drifted up, and then big collapse there on Tuesday night. So we were in the yen during that phase. So yeah, originally we were getting in the yen there. We made our money on the yen, and then we were just too unfaithful to the yen. We jumped and went to the euro. That's all I can tolerate, man. You tell those British pound people to go fuck themselves. You tell all the other currencies. That's just wrong, man. Just trade the liquid stuff. Anybody out there trading tin? Sure, it's got a nice range volatility to it. Yeah, I don't think that's the answer. I don't think we want to be doing that trade. Trading oats, eggs. Not gonna do it. Okay, $4,200 here. 3 minutes left. Yeah, this is the trade I like right here. I almost feel like buying a little bit before we close up at the top of the hour. But I'm trying to be disciplined here and just only stick with the original just under 900. $10 under 900 of investment. Okay, what say you? Nice calm drift down. Beautiful setup for a rally, for a short squeeze. Looking at 4,300 here. 5 minutes after the top of the hour. I have to extend my I have to move the goalposts like a Democrat here. I really meant 5 minutes after the top of the hour. Didn't I say that? How do these people do it, man? How do people go up in front of the public on TV and say weird stuff? The market makes more sense, I think. That's why I like it. It's so funny. The signal services, the neural nets. The market's so crude and prehistoric and vulgar. It just doesn't give a fuck about your algo. or your fucking fundamentals. I like how the Ryan Brown's like, I'm gonna have to assess this interest rate change and how it's gonna affect. Yeah, by the time you assess that, the market's already moved. You poor thing. Okay, got 35 seconds left to the top of the hour. We're at $4,200, trying to make it to 4,300 by the top of the hour, 5 minutes after at least. I give myself a 5 minute window. My confirmation is I'm not going to. If it goes up, I'm not buying anymore. I know it confirms I'm not gonna buy anymore. Let's make money on this accumulation at deep discount prices. Now let's just let it ride up. There you go, boom, 10. Okay. I'm $80, 88 bucks for my target here. I want to see some action, people. Come on. All right. Well, that was a dud. Anyways, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. We're gonna ride this thing out tonight. I'm gonna get to $5,000 by the time Europe opens. So if it's down on the 15, I will buy some though. So that's the thing. If it heats up, you know, you got to buy pullbacks on the 5, but you're going to sit there and stock it, and you really are going to have to babysit that trade. I don't see any other way around it. You know, if your system demands that you look at it every 4 hours and you have trade plans for that 4-hour behavior or non-behavior or non-action. I always think when they say price action traders, they're talking about markets that are moving a lot. But what about a non-price action trade? What would that be like? And I'm thinking that's got to be the delta, the flag entry, it's got to be that, I think. Okay, we're just kind of sitting here treading water now. 4 minutes left for my target. Yeah, that's the question. Are you going to wait 6 hours to get paid here? Yeah, by 4 o'clock in the morning. I wonder if there's any crazy news coming out. Let's see, what do we got here? Boy, that other day they came out with the Euro's rate. That was insane. Forget FOMC. FOMC doesn't seem to do much to the markets anymore. They come out with that minimum bid on the Euro. Jesus Christ, everybody step back. That is brutal. I'm at 4,200. Got 3 minutes left to make it 4,300. Trying to make $100 in 3 minutes here. Yeah, let me take a look at that. Kind of curious about forex factory now. Should be aware of this stuff. Seems pretty tame right now. You can almost tell when the news is about to come out. The market's either really dead or it gets really small range, and the tick chart starts to go berserk. Well, we got this Bank of Japan guy who's going to speak. Maybe we should do a yen trade here at 2:35 a.m. $8:30 in the morning, final GDP. Okay, so Draghi's going to speak tomorrow, 9:30 o'clock in the morning when the stocks open. That should be fucking nuts. Let's see if we can be slightly long into that Draghi nonsense. I'll be trading that Draghi shit in the morning, I think. 9:30 is always crazy. Stocks will be opening just when Draghi supposedly speaks. Do they have him with a stopwatch? It's 9:30. He's just gonna, or is he gonna? They're gonna release his speech that he pre-recorded. Then we got the Carney from the Bank of England is going to speak at 9:45. That should be more punished. 15 minutes away from Draghi's speech. Insane. And then Claridia is going to speak for the FOMC. Oh, this is so silly. Okay, let's see if it rocks the market. At 2:35 a.m., set your alarms, people. Has anybody ever gone into the... I'm sure people have gone to Forex Factory. Haven't they looked into the forums here? Time price forecasting thread. Alright, so those are all single position trades though. That's the flaw. There's the rub. 1 minute left. I don't think... There you go. We didn't make our target. Yeah, we're shy of it. Okay, we're $60 away from the target. I think I'm at 10 after 10. Yeah, that's it. I don't have patience for it. So, I think it's time to get some food and start putting on some weight for the winter. Get fat. Hibernate. I have to feed my neighbor's dog some... does anybody have any antifreeze? Alright, I don't know. I must say boring. The daily chart looks scary. Weekly chart looks so crushing down. The monthly, holy shit, we're coming back to that top from 2016. Okay. I can see it now. Wow, look at that last hour. Look at the range on that puppy. So that's my... Yeah, we're going up. I'm not going to touch it. I guess I could buy a little bit and justify it by saying we're about to break out the 30-minute and the 1 hour chart. And the 1 hour chart just made the smallest bar compared to the last bar. And maybe that's another aspect that we have to build into the system a little bit. I don't want to get too complicated, but if the previous bar was 15 pips and the new bar is 3, wow, that's an inside bar, or that's a hammer, or that is a drying up of volatility. That's really a big deal. So look at this. Check out this chart. The 1 hour euro dollar right now. Jesus Christ. It's so subtle. I don't know. It's so easy to just look at one thing. Look at this thing, man. Okay, we did kind of trap the breakout traders a little bit there. We did take out the high for the last half hour, so. The beginning of the end of the bears now. So we drift up. Okay. So the 1 hour chart. Very small range. 30 minutes very dramatic though. Doesn't look like small range here. It looks small range if you press it here. But you know, we just tip the window there. Okay, so that's going up. I'm gonna let that thing go. We gotta get to this top here. Gotta take that out and keep screaming north. $40 from my target, equity target. So, $43. Gonna take out the half hour bar, the euro dollar. Very shallow targets. Just probably going to only be in $400 of margin once we get up there. It's $4,500, and then I will run the trailing limits that are 3 pips deep and 4 and 5 and 6 coming underneath it. I think that's going to be the way to go. But yeah, these are, there's swing trades, scalps, all on one currency, all in one day, on a 1 hour chart, on a 30-minute chart. The 4 hour chart really is going to be, if you stick to the 4 hour chart, you can trade more pairs, but 28 might be pushing it. I suppose the pound on the 4 hour chart with a 20 pip stop would work. But I do like those 5 pip stops and those 6 pip stops and getting in really heavy. Okay, it's 10 minutes after the top of the hour, so we're $10 from the target. Oh well. Yeah, it's pretty close. Like I said, I don't want to bore people, so I'm just over anticipating our luxuriant profits. Kind of like see what the story is, so let's just get there. All right, let's get to that price already. Enough already with this selling off bullshit. Okay, so we're getting our first short squeeze possibly. They just took out the high from the last half hour. And so I think you could also call that a trap. It's always counterintuitive like that, It's always like, I'm gonna zoom in another level here. I'm gonna go for the max zoom in. So if we can make it to the top of that blue swimming pool, we'll be in great shape. Real good shape there, and that's our target, our initial target. That's quite a bit of time away. It's about an hour away, I'd say. Well, I guess it's about 15 minutes away. Yeah, so that's it. Markets get so bombastic today. I mean, it's really, one currency up and down. And I think actually, I'm sure it freaked a lot of people out and beat them up, because they didn't think that it was going to reverse twice. And that's, I think, what no nonsense calls manipulation there. That 30-minute chart, how crazy up and down it is. Okay, so we're just drifting out now. All right, when we get above that swimming pool there, and I will be up, and I will run the trailing limits, and I can't wait to see what Draghi's going to do to the market, or what it might do pre-Draghi. And then I'm going to look at I don't know if I'm going to trade this British pound, but I like to see how it reacts, and it's a lot to have the British pound trade plans available and run them at the same time you're going for the other orders. It's a lot. So I don't like to see all that going on the same account, but maybe you do. I just can't tell how good I'm doing it at trading that one instrument. I can't really see the effect. Yeah, so it's just really kind of recovering from a sell-off here. The retracement trades are just kind of like a classic, the market's going to come back to something that's not so extreme. I mean, we really are at the edge of the prices here. It's no guarantee. It's not a guarantee that it's going to go up from here either. But if it ever had a chance, it's going to be where it's exhausted from going down on the dailies. 3 days in a row, this being the yesterday being if you go to the daily chart, it's been really heavy down. Then today it was kind of down, and we're retesting those lows. We're in that hot spot. All right, so I'm riding this thing north again. Now I feel like I want to get to $6,000 on this account because, damn nabbit, it's going to retrace, I'm telling you. Otherwise, we just lose money, that's all. How biggie? It's only money. Not too worried about it. It's a classic scenario. We've seen it a million fucking times. Absolutely boring. Alrighty then, so let's go get some pizza.